So Warwick, we just got done with a very interesting, very emotional, moving conversation with Todd Komarnicki, who is a Hollywood hyphenate, writer, director, producer. He produced, and we talked about this too, the movie Bonhoeffer. So there's a lot of stuff to talk about, but if you could pick, well, not if you could pick, let's pick one or two really high points that folks can look for in this episode, good takeaways from this episode, from Todd's story and from the story of Dietrich Bonhoeffer that he tells in his movie.
You know, what I love about Todd is he was so authentic and so vulnerable. We talked a lot about faith and darkness, and he really did have a couple of years or so of a dark night of the soul. He grew up in a family of faith, but I guess it really, in his words, wasn't anchored. When he talks about times when he could have ended his life, and there were people that basically stood up for him and loved him enough, including a friend in college and his parents that showed him such love. It is incredible. And when I think about his story, he talks about something that's very counterintuitive. And we hear that from some guests we've had on the podcast. It's almost the blessing of crucibles. You don't run away from them, you run towards them. And that, as we'll discuss, is really the story of Dietrich Bonhoeffer, whose movie he made. But just that notion that often running away from crucibles and pain just causes more pain. But what are the lessons? What can I learn? And I think the person he is, with so much, great compassion and love and wisdom, came out of the lessons he learned from his crucible. I love how he talks about God, about being like, the mother dog picking up the puppy by the scruff of its neck, and how the puppies have just more folds in their fur. And so you might think I want to go a different way, but from his perspective, that God kind of takes you kind of where he wants to. And I think he was always meant to write, direct, and produce a movie about Dietrich Bonhoeffer, as, listen to the podcast and watch it for the fuller story. But a man who grew up in Germany and was a Lutheran pastor in the 30s as Adolf Hitler was rising to power, and really spoke truth to power when a lot of the Lutheran churches sold out to Hitler, and it became the Reichschurch. And ultimately, he died for his faith. This was not cheap grace. There's a book that Bonhoeffer wrote, The Cost of Discipleship. This was really dying for his belief. So just the message of the Bonhoeffer movie and life story is standing up for what you believe in, not running away from what you feel God's call, or, some higher power's call on your life. Not running away from your crucible, but running towards it. Both Todd and Bonhoeffer, they ran towards their crucible. And we talk a lot on this podcast about the crucibles don't happen to you, they happen for you. What are the lessons we can learn from our worst day? How can that equip us to really inspire, love, and help others? And I think that's what Todd does in his movies. And that's what Dietrich Bonhoeffer did in his life.